3. So, phase 1, there's 4 topping phases to a market. And part of phase 1 is the re-leveraging of the original weakness, the gap down in the price where the weakness started. The public sold down clearly. Now we need to take it out in a big way. And then we need to consolidate up here. The delta's up from here. Hey, let's take a look. How about 1 1/2 deltas up? That's that 1339 handle. Again, that's about where the reversals were happening, right up here. But hey, that's 1 1/2 deltas to the bone line. 2 deltas, 1346, 2 1/2 deltas up. Hey, it's here. 1353 is 2 1/2. That's $33 up on the S&P from here. 33 points per se to the upper end. And naturally, a market maker platform is quite different, because what the MMTs are going to learn here is if I do not do what I say here, then that means that this original reversal still has weakness momentum built into it. Bottom line. It will have to change, and it will have to do exactly what I say right here and now, and that's consolidating above there, but then getting the consolidation where we break through and we consolidate the teeny with a big up bar and deltas, like two delta lines here. Do the math. My friends, that's over $16 movement here on that 3-minute daily bar. 8 times 0.33 times 2, we'll do the math. There it is. That's just what a ratio came out to be, which is okay with me. It's how you apply it and understand where the daily top reversal in this cycle here, these amount of days, days 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to go into day 5. And you want to see a continuation delta expansion to the upside to get up to these deltas, just as you did over here. So right now, it's going to be made that if the S&P cannot close and maintain a consolidation above the lower end of this half bar in the short term, is that's 1308.72. If I can't build a base there and then delta expansion, that would mean that the weakness, there's more weakness in this top reversal of 5 starting over here. So we're going to carefully monitor exactly what these gauges mean and say, because that's ultimately going to have the end result in the actual index weighted momentum of either strength or its medium and or its weakness. That's the important part, so you know how to know where the next breakout would be or the next short breakdown would be, which would be that half of this bar right here is 13.98. If I was to slide back and close below it and start another one of these daily distribution bars, that ended up to be the case, and that's going to reaffirm that top and how this weakness started in this market to start with. And we'll be doing a lot of, intraday using the 3-minute chart. This is what this one is. See? And from day to day, there are these breakouts that happen on the S&P 500. And when you understand that each one of these lines are 83 pennies, and if I'm breaking out, if I'm breaking higher, then that means stocks like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan go higher. And there's other ones. So different time frames, you can see where buyers have stepped in the markets on this time level. More importantly is, if I do a 60-minute chart versus a daily, you'll see here that since we made that daily low at that 1 delta that I talked about, you can see here in the 60-minute move on those huge up bars, and this is always the key to understanding that reversal, MMT, because that's exactly what you're looking for when you have a long, deep left short side to the bottom of the negative delta line, is how they pop vibrantly off here, MMTs. That's what you have to see. Whether it's an index or whether it's a name in the platform, whatever it is, That is always the juice. That power, that RPMs. They would be doing all of these RPMs and everything they move here. Everything that has the meaning of being a market maker and making money with the public. You're transacting between them. And this is how it started. How nice. So it's always good to see, relative to that daily I showed on the video, is also how that 60-minute bars, that these are 1, 2, 1/4 deltas at $4 a freaking line. Look at that. 1 up, 2 up. Taken toward the highs. Bam. I'm breaking out with a diamond alert. I gap up at the low end of this bar. I'm taking out this whole last area right here. And I am doing it with what I want to see. And that is that delta expansion in the MMT platform. Welcome to what you want to see on these breakouts, whether they're equities and or indexes. This is a 60-minute price action bars. And so this is the attempted of that bottom phase on that daily. And we came right down here to this delta line, and it started with the buy action and never looked back. That meant that these gauges were burning at high RPMs, or you would have never gotten from the buy action bar to the top of that delta line to the penny. It's that simple, MMTs. So we're going to see what the actual momentum on Monday is in here, and exactly how we open up, exactly what the brain says, because that's going to tell us if there's any fear in the public or not. And it's always important to understand where the public model is, because a market maker is making a market in between the public model. That's what we do. So it's important to understand that if we fail at one of these and we start to ratio down, then that means stocks in the S&P are going to be weak. And if the index is going to be weak, then it's going to be more of a short sell. So we'll look and see throughout the day how these 60-minute bars are setting up on the S&P 500. I've given a special report for senior traders and, more importantly, our worldwide international community of people outside of the U.S. who have elected to come to SMF and learn how to participate and be a U.S. equity market maker on all of the exchanges, individual names, options pricing, so forth and whatnot. Looking for that momentum on the opening bell tomorrow morning, which would be Monday, 2/28/2011. And which way do I get short? Which way do I get long? Which ETFs am I going to take for the breakouts on that S&P 500? How am I going to get those up and out of the money? 1340 calls in case we want to go up here? Well, it will all be dependent on how we pull back on a 60-minute. And if we build higher delta lines, that price action, then that means that there's good momentum off of this bottom. Let it be known.